After weeks of silence, scandal, and speculation, Claressa Shields has finally had enough. The undefeated boxing champ just pulled up on Remy Ma, face to face in a confrontation that exploded in public and left everyone shook. No more sneak disses. No more cryptic posts. It's time it's all on camera. And the tension. Unbearable. Eyewitnesses say the moment happened outside a luxury restaurant in New Jersey, where Claressa allegedly confronted Remy with a vengeance. And get this, sources claim she came prepared with screenshots, DMIs, and receipts that could expose everything. People thought this drama ended at the BET Awards when Remy sent Claressa to the ICU in that shocking backstage altercation. But Claressa's recovery wasn't just physical. She was plotting. And now the comeback isn't happening in a ring. It's unfolding in the streets. Within minutes, footage hit the blogs. Twitter exploded. Celebrities are reacting. And fans are asking one question. What did Claressa say that made Remy walk away without saying a word? This isn't a rumor. This isn't a scene from Love and Hip Hop. This is real, and it just went viral for all the world to see. The energy was electric on that warm Saturday night in Newark, New Jersey. Celebrities, influencers, and elite athletes had gathered for an exclusive industry dinner at Amara Lounge, a high-end Caribbean fusion restaurant that was buzzing with lights, paparazzi, and whispered conversations. But no one expected this dinner to end in chaos. Not with Claressa Shields, the GWOAT, standing on the sidewalk, arms crossed, eyes locked on the woman who'd nearly ended her career just weeks ago. Remy Ma, the tension could be cut with a knife. But this wasn't just a run-in. It was intentional. Claressa had pulled up unannounced and unafraid, dressed in all black with her signature braided ponytail swinging behind her. The champion didn't say a word when she stepped out of her SUV. Her eyes did all the talking, piercing straight through Remy like she had every right to demand a moment. And this time, she wasn't going to be the one backing down. Just a few weeks ago, the world watched in horror as Claressa was rushed to the ICU following a violent altercation backstage at the BET Awards. An altercation that was captured in grainy security footage and allegedly involved Remy Ma. Claressa had suffered a concussion, head trauma, and missed an international boxing event because of her injuries. While Remy remained silent, Claressa's camp pursued legal action, and social media exploded with demands for accountability. The story should have ended there, but Claressa wasn't built for silence. And she certainly wasn't built for being played. That's why. When she learned through mutual contacts that Remy Ma would be dining at Amara Lounge for a private booking with producers and stylists from her new fashion collabo, she made a call and pulled up on purpose. What followed was a moment so raw, so intense, and so unfiltered that 3 different guests at the restaurant recorded it from different angles, and within an hour, all of them hit the blogs. The clips showed Claressa standing about 10 feet from the front door of the restaurant. Remy appeared moments later, stepping out in a satin trench coat and sunglasses. She didn't flinch when she saw Claressa, but she did stop. Eyewitnesses said Remy's security stepped in instantly, but Claressa raised her hand and said, "Nah, let her talk," and shockingly, briefed her security off. The crowd that had gathered outside went dead silent. Cars slowed down. Phone cameras rose up. It was like watching 2 storms collide, past pain, public shame, and personal betrayal all boiling under the surface. Claressa's voice was low but forceful. "Ain't here to fight," she said. "I'm here to speak woman to woman. Are you ready for that?" Remy folded her arms but nodded slightly. "Go ahead." And that's when Claressa unleashed everything. Sources say she pulled a small envelope from her clutch, the same envelope she was seen holding in one of the leaked videos, and handed it to Remy. Inside, printed screenshots of messages allegedly between Papoose and Claressa, unreleased ones, the kind that didn't make it online. Messages that fans and blogs never saw. Messages that painted a very different picture than the one Remy had clung to in her public apology. "Look at the dates," Claressa said. "I told you before I didn't touch your man. But he touched me. Emotionally, he opened that door, not me." Remy reportedly didn't look at the papers. She held the envelope, then looked Claressa in the face and said, "Why now?" Claressa's response, cold and honest, "Because I deserved my moment. You took that from me at bet. You tried to paint me like a homewrecker when your husband was the one sending me mixed signals." Boom. Cameras shook. Onlookers gasped. The internet later said you could feel the tension through the screen even though the audio was muffled in the viral clips. What really stunned people was Remy's reaction. She didn't scream, she didn't swing, she didn't deny anything. She just stood there frozen. For someone who once made headlines for spitting fire and battle raps and dragging people on TV, Remy Ma looked shook. And that silence, it said everything. According to an eyewitness, a fashion stylist who remained anonymous but confirmed attendance, you could tell Remy didn't expect Claressa to confront her so calmly. It caught her off guard. No yelling, no cursing, just facts. That's what made it hit harder. After a minute of silence, Claressa reportedly ended it with one final blow. "You hurt me, but I'm still standing. And now you've got to carry the truth." And with that, she turned around and walked away. No punches, no security dragging anyone apart. It's just two women locked in a standoff, one seeking truth, the other left holding the wreckage of what used to be unbreakable. Within 45 minutes, the footage hit the Shade Room, then Hollywood Unlocked, then Twitter and TikTok. Hashtags like #CLARESSA pulled up and #RemySpeechless started trending instantly. Fans were living for Claressa's grace under pressure. She didn't throw hands. She threw facts. Remy Ma just met her match in maturity and strength. Now that's how you confront betrayal. But while the internet cheered, others weren't so quick to pick sides. Some fans questioned Claressa's motive. Why now? Why in public? Why do it when she knew there'd be cameras? One user posted, "Feels like she wanted clout more than closure." Others defended her. Remy dragged her name and almost ended her career. She had every right to get her moment. Meanwhile, neither woman spoke publicly in the hours that followed. Papoose, however, posted a quote to his Instagram story the next morning that said, "Sometimes silence is the loudest scream." Fans weren't having it. One top comment read, "You caused this mess and now want to act poetic." Please. What's wild is that according to insiders, Bet was already planning to film a redemption special, with Remy Ma addressing the incident, but now Claressa's public pull-up has thrown those plans into disarray. A producer anonymously shared this wasn't in the script. "We thought Remy would get ahead of the narrative." But Claressa flipping it in her favor? That changes the whole game. Even executives were reportedly caught off guard. Bet doesn't know whether to lean into the drama or shut it down entirely. One staffer said, "The internet has already written the next chapter. And they're right, because now Claressa isn't just a champion in the ring. She's a voice for standing up, standing firm, and standing in your truth. Even when you were the one left on the floor. But the story's not over. Remy still hasn't responded. Papoose is being pressured to speak. And with legal matters still unfolding, the next move could change everything. Especially now that Claressa made hers in broad daylight on camera. In front of the world, the footage of Claressa Shields pulling up on Remy Ma hit the internet like a tidal wave, and within minutes, social media was in full meltdown mode. You couldn't scroll Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok without seeing multiple angles of the explosive face-off. Everyone had something to say, but the one thing they all agreed on: this wasn't staged. This was real. Real emotions, real tension, and real consequences. By sunrise, clips of the confrontation had already racked up over 10 million views across platforms. Blogs were labeling it the most powerful pull-up in hip-hop history. Commentators, influencers, and even radio hosts couldn't stop dissecting every second of Claressa's calm delivery. Her tone, her body language, even the way Remy stood frozen, speechless. Envelope in hand, Claressa came with a message. One commentator on The Breakfast Club said, "She didn't come to fight, she came to finish. That's power." And just like that, the power dynamic flipped. Remy Ma, once seen as the aggressor in the BET Awards fiasco, was now on the back foot. She wasn't talking. She wasn't defending. And for the first time, the public narrative wasn't in her control. Bet execs panicking, according to Insider sources. The network had quietly been in talks with Remy Ma's team to launch a special redemption documentary, an exclusive sit-down where Remy would finally share her side of what happened at the BET Awards with Claressa. The plan was to frame it as an emotional comeback, one that would garner empathy, clean up her image, and provide a soft re-entry into public favor. But that plan imploded the moment. Claressa walked up to Remy in front of dozens of witnesses and took control of her own story with facts. She exposed Bet's entire strategy, said a producer familiar with the project. They were betting on the public forgetting, but Claressa reminded them and us what really happened. And she did it without yelling, without drama, just receipts. Receipts that are now being dissected frame by fans across the globe. A TikTok user slowed down one clip from the confrontation, revealing a blurry glimpse of the messages Claressa handed over. One of them appeared to be from Papoose, reading, "I wish I could tell you how I really feel. It's deeper than training." Another read, "You are the only one who listens when I talk." Dated just weeks before the bet incident, that line sent the internet into a frenzy. "Papoose been emotionally cheating," someone tweeted. And Remy attacked the wrong person, even though the full messages haven't been confirmed by Claressa or her camp. The consistency of what's being shown in all the angles suggests this wasn't some fabricated drama. Claressa knew what she was bringing and knew the world would see it. The public started calling her the Silent Avenger. Others dubbed her the Calm Storm. Within 24 hours, she gained over 600,000 new followers across social media. But while Claressa's star rose, Remy Ma's silence started to look like guilt. Major media outlets like TMZ, People magazine, and even ESPN reached out to Remy's team for comment. No response. No denial. No spin. Even Fat Joe, a longtime supporter and close friend of Remy, declined to speak when asked by Hip Hop DX. "I love them both," he said, "but I'm not stepping into that. That's a personal war." Behind the scenes, insiders say Remy was furious, not at Claressa, but at Papoose. She feels like he lit the match and let her take the fire. One source close to Remy revealed she believed him when he said nothing was going on. Now she's realizing he played both sides. Papoose, meanwhile, has gone completely silent. No interviews, no statements. Nothing but vague, poetic posts on social media that are only making things worse. One post read, "When a man loses his peace, he's already lost the war." Another said, "The heart can lie to the mind for only so long." Fans weren't impressed. "You fumbled to Queens, Pap. You let your ego wreck your empire. This could have been avoided if you told the truth." Even battle rap legend Loaded Lux tweeted, "Real men don't let queens fall for their silence." With pressure mounting and Remy's public image spiraling, Bet reportedly called an emergency meeting to determine whether to proceed with the redemption special. According to one source, they're now considering pivoting the entire narrative, focusing instead on Claressa's resilience and emotional maturity in the face of betrayal and public attack. They're scrambling. The source said the internet already crowned Claressa the winner. Bet doesn't want to look like they're defending the wrong person anymore. Meanwhile, Claressa isn't just sitting back watching the chaos unfold. She's thriving in the wake of the viral moment. Several new sponsorship deals have landed on her desk, including a potential partnership with a high-profile women's empowerment brand and a guest hosting offer on a major sports network. Her team also teased a possible documentary series chronicling her comeback from the bed attack to this moment of triumph. Working title, Still Standing. In one now viral clip from her recent Instagram Live, Claressa smiled calmly and said, "I told y'all I'd let the truth speak. Now look how loud it's screaming." Fans erupted in the comments. "Queen behavior. She handled that with more class than most people could. She code Remy without throwing a punch." But not everyone's letting go of the drama just yet. Some fans are demanding that Claressa press new charges, saying Remy's silence doesn't equal remorse. Others believe the two women still have more to say to each other, possibly behind closed doors, before any real healing can happen. "I just want them to talk it out." One fan posted, "You can tell they are both hurting." And then there's Papoose, the man at the center of it all, whose silence is starting to feel strategic, not shameful. Rumors are circulating that he may be preparing for a full sit-down interview to clear the air and explain his side before public. Pressure boils over completely. One alleged source close to the rapper claims Papoose is hurting. He knows he messed up, but he doesn't want to throw either woman under the bus. He's trying to figure out how to apologize without making things worse. But at this point, silence is making it worse, because now the public isn't just watching. They're choosing sides. They're analyzing every move, and every second that passes without a clear response from Remy or Papoose. Claressa's quiet confidence keeps winning hearts. From the bet incident to this explosive face-off, the narrative has shifted. The woman who was once hospitalized is now holding court. The woman who once attacked in rage is standing in confusion, and the man who sparked it all, watching his empire burn in real time. But the final chapter hasn't been written, and with emotions raw, reputations on the line, and the truth still unfolding, the most explosive moment is yet to come. Because there's one thing the streets, the blogs, and the fans all agree on. Claressa and Remy's story isn't finished. As the days ticked on and the viral footage continued to dominate headlines, fans waited for one final piece to fall into place. Papoose, the man whose silence was now louder than any words, the one who stood between two powerful women with everything on the line. While Claressa had spoken her truth and Remy stood exposed by her stillness, Pap was hiding in the shadows, letting the world assume the worst. Until now. A bombshell dropped on a Sunday night, a sit-down interview. Papoose, one-on-one, no filter, no escape. Hosted by veteran journalist Angie Martinez, the teaser alone shook the internet. The truth you've been waiting for, it's finally here. The voiceover promised, and when it aired, it did not disappoint. Papoose walked in alone, looking noticeably slimmer, wearing a plain black hoodie with no jewelry. No bravado, just a man who looked like he'd aged 10 years in 2 weeks. The interview opened with a deep sigh and one question. Did you cheat on Remy Ma with Claressa? Shields, his answer. No, but I did betray her. That single line froze social media. Papoose went on to explain that he and Claressa had grown close during a difficult time in his marriage. He said Remy was busy, focused on career moves, and emotionally distant. I didn't go looking for anything, he said, but I found comfort in Claressa. She listened when no one else did. He admitted to texting Claressa late at night, confiding in her, even visiting her gym under the guise of training when what he really wanted was just to be around her. I never kissed her, never slept with her. But I can't lie, I crossed the emotional line, Papoose confessed. I played with hearts I had no business touching. Angie asked him if he understood why Remy exploded the way she did at Bet. Yeah, he said, she felt betrayed and I gave her every reason to. But he also addressed the confrontation outside Amara. lounged the viral face-off between Claressa and Remy. That moment, that was real. That was two queens facing pain that I caused. And I'll carry that forever. Fans were left stunned. The comment sections exploded. Finally, some honesty. He didn't cheat, but he opened the door wide enough for destruction. To walk in, emotional cheating is still betrayal. But just when the dust seemed to be settling, Claressa did something nobody expected. She posted a photo, a selfie, her smiling gently, hair down, no makeup, and right next to her, Remy Ma, side by side, no caption, just a peace sign emoji. The post shattered the internet. Fans couldn't believe their eyes. Was this fake, old, edited? But no, the comments confirmed it. Even Cardi B slid in and wrote, "Y'all better not be playing with me." And then Remy reposted the same pic with the caption, "Growth is gangsta." What had happened behind the scenes? Sources close to both women confirmed. They'd met privately, away from cameras, away from social media, and just talked. No lawyers, no entourages, just them. They cried. They yelled, they laughed, and they apologized, the source said. It wasn't clean, it wasn't pretty, but it was real. Apparently, Claressa had extended the olive branch. She didn't want a war anymore. She wanted healing. And Remy, finally open to listening, accepted it. The conversation went deeper than fans will ever know. Both women had suffered. Both had been misled. And both were strong enough to confront each other without violence this time, according to Claressa's trainer. That hug at the end of the convo was the hardest punch either of them ever gave, and it landed with love. Bet jumped at the opportunity to reframe the narrative. They reached out to both women to film a joint interview titled Unfinished Business. It's set to premiere next month, with proceeds going to domestic violence survivors and women's rehabilitation charities. And Papoose, he's been silent since his interview aired. Some say he's giving space. Others say he's reflecting. But the internet has turned its attention away from him and towards something more powerful. The example of forgiveness and maturity shown by two women who had every reason to be enemies and chose healing instead. But just as fans were celebrating the reunion, another twist hit. An anonymous source leaked that Claressa and Remy might be collaborating on a new docuseries together. Not about the fight, not about Papoose, but about women in the industry navigating betrayal, fame, pressure, and pain, and still rising. The title, We Still Stand. The pitch has reportedly drawn interest from Netflix, Hulu, and Prime Video. It's already being described as the most powerful rebrand in hip-hop culture. Bloggers are calling it the ultimate redemption arc. Not because anyone forgot what happened, but because both women faced it, owned it, and evolved. And what about the fans? Well, Twitter's been lit with posts like, "I went from #team, CLARESS, to #team healing. These women gave us a masterclass in handling chaos. Forget the drama. This is what growth looks like." But still, some critics remain skeptical. This reunion feels too clean, too fast, one blogger wrote. Is this just damage control? Maybe. Or maybe, just maybe, it's proof that not every broken bond stays broken forever. That even the deepest scars can fade when truth enters the room. And that's exactly what Claressa and Remy are banking on. From ICU beds and viral leaks to sidewalk confrontations and public reconciliation. This story had everything: heartbreak, betrayal, redemption. And sisterhood. The realest fight Claressa ever fought wasn't in the ring. And Remy Ma's biggest battle wasn't in a booth. It was in her heart. Two women, one messy truth, and a world watching every step. But in the end, they walked away from the fire together. This story wasn't just a headline. It was a cultural moment. From betrayal and heartbreak to accountability and healing, Claressa Shields and Remy Ma just reminded the world what real growth looks like. No cameras, no clout chasing. It's just two women facing the consequences, finding their voices, and rewriting the narrative on their terms. But the conversation doesn't stop here. Starts with you. What would you do if someone emotionally betrayed you behind closed doors? Would you fight, forgive, or walk away? Do you think Remy's apology was genuine? Did Claressa pull up for peace or power? And should Papoose be forgiven? We want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't hold back. This is your space to speak truth. Make sure to like this video if you respect the growth both women showed. And subscribe for more raw, real, and unapologetic breakdowns of the drama unfolding in hip-hop and celebrity culture. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next twist, because trust us, this saga is far from over. This is where the real tea always spills first.